Welcome into the Steelers Talk live show presented by Prize Picks. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today on a Tuesday evening. This is the first time we've been live since we got off live of our breaking news live show over the weekend with Aaron Rodgers officially deciding to return to the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2026. Yesterday was the first day of OTAs. They're in Southside Pittsburgh. Today the players had a day off. The coordinators did talk with the media today, though, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, all right? So first up, we got the latest Steelers news and rumors. As always, we're going to be talking a little bit about Michael Pittman Jr. and a free agent wide receiver that he has been recruiting to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this name should be familiar to you guys. Got some stuff to talk about here in the first segment. Then ESPN's Mike Clay just put out his stat predictions for all of the players on the Pittsburgh Steelers starting lineup for the 2026 season. I'm going to be reacting to that because, frankly, it's ridiculous. Then we'll get into my player profile on rookie cornerback Daylen Everette out of Georgia. And then, of course, our Madden simulated season continues with our Week 2 sim versus the New England Patriots. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. So if you guys want to get in on the action today, you guys want to get your comments, your questions up on screen, you guys are going to have to super chat to get any Steelers topic that you want up on screen and for me and Ponzi to discuss today. If you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, the backup quarterback situation, that's definitely a hot topic right now. Whether or not the Steelers can maybe win a Super Bowl this year, how they can do that, the defense, the offense, anything. I'm happy to answer any and all questions for you guys. So make sure you get those super chats in to help support the show. And if you guys want to skip the line and you guys want your question answered first and skip the line of super chats, you guys can send it in a Venmo or PayPal. You can find me on Venmo at Jack-Sperry or at Captain Jackrabbit on PayPal. The reason why we let Venmo and PayPal questions skip the line is because YouTube takes a 30% cut of all the super chats you guys send in, and then Apple takes another 10%. So a lot of that money that you guys are sending to the show via super chats is not going to us. But with Venmo and PayPal, we get to keep more of those proceeds, and that helps us pay for cameras and equipment and keeps the lights on here at the studio and all that great stuff. So if you want to help support the show, Venmo and PayPal is the way where more of your donation dollars get to stay with us here at Steelers Talk. So I want to see who's all in the chat. We already got over 230 people watching live. Type those me's. The real ones know what to do. Get those me's in the chat if you want a shout out. And also make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon. All right. We got 230 people watching. 36 people have liked the show. I want to get that up to at least 50 likes before we get into our first segment of the day. Of course, my lovely fiance, soon to be wife, but still fiance, Cassie Voth in the chat. Everyone say hi to Cassie. We got Rez. We got Eugene Payne. We got Justin Yankuski. We've got Gen 05, we've got Hot Rod, we've got Czar Craig, we've got Michael, we've got Fluffy, we got Seville OG, what's up, my man? We got Morgan, we've got Billy, Ali the Reaper's here, we got Wild Watts, Keep 'em Coming, Kevin Reed is here, we've got Elvis, David, Calvin, Rachel, Bourbon, Robert Kirkpatrick, Jordan, Christopher. Oh, man, we got a great crew. Fernando Martin's here, man. I can't wait to get into the Steelers Talk topics today, man. But before we get into it, let's have a word from our presenting sponsor that helps make this show possible, which is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever. We just kicked off the conference finals in professional basketball last night with more action later on this evening. There's no better place to cash in during playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is super easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections, then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well, with a number of different stat projections to choose from as well to truly customize your daily fantasy lineups. You guys can take a look at this future projection that I have on next year's football season. I'm taking the more on Myles Garrett sacks. I'm taking the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers and the more on receiving yards for Jeremy Bernard. One thing that I love about the Prize Picks app, guys, is the social feeds feature that they have where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at @CSperry to see all of my lineups. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 $50 in lineups with our friends at Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring tonight's edition of Steelers Talk Live. And of course, you guys can get your mullet mugs, our Jennings Dunker mugs that we have up on our website right now if you want to help support the show. Chatsports.com/mullet to get yours today. $13.49 is the price tag to get your mullet mug. And these mugs, man, they're awesome. You've got the ginger mullet and mustache combination on one side with the Steelers Talk logo on the other side. So if you want a nice new mug to sip your morning coffee in on Steelers game days, I think this is a great option for you. Chatsports.com/mullet to pick yours up today. All right, man. Well, I think we're about ready here to get into the show, Ponzi, but if you want to come on screen here to discuss maybe what was your impression of the first day of OTAs when Aaron Rodgers is returned to the practice field?
I got chills, TBH, man. Seeing Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy back together again, that's just, I mean, you got to love that. If you're an NFL fan, unless you hate football, you love to see Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers back for one last ride together. Well, we think one last ride. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, that's going to be electric to see this upcoming season. It was just really surreal. Obviously, you know, they did have that time in Green Bay together. Rodgers came into the league. I believe his second year, Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Packers. And just it's an awesome sight to see, and I'm really excited to see what this Steelers team looks like under Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. I think it's going to be really exciting to see. A lot to look forward to. Nice infusion of youth through the draft. I'm just excited. I mean, I'm really excited to see how OTAs shape up and the storylines we see from it.
Yeah, man, and the thing that I think I'm probably the most excited for this upcoming season, it's like, yeah, you know, it's nice that you got a 4-time NFL MVP as your quarterback, and yeah, it's nice, it's exciting to have a new coaching staff in there, and, you know, to add some weapons to the offense. All that's fine and dandy. I think this defense has a chance to go from very disappointing last year to one of the better defenses in football here in 2026 under new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. I've been a big fan of PG for a long time. I've been an admirer of his since his early days as a DC back with the New York Giants, where he really helped elevate a shitty defensive roster, and they were a pretty decent defense when he was there in New York. Ran a very unique scheme that was very tailored to the strengths of the roster. And now he's coming into a situation here in Pittsburgh where he's easily got the most talent he's ever had to work with. The Steelers still have one of, if not the best defensive line in the National Football League. You've got great talent and depth along both the interior and the edges on this group that can get after the quarterback, and now hopefully they can stuff the run a bit better with a run stuffer being added to this group in Sebastian Joseph Day. Also, I'm very excited to see what Patrick Graham can do with a couple of very talented linebackers in Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. I think in Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin's kind of older school scheme, they would put those linebackers in some really tough positions, and they would ask them to cover like slot wide receivers at times in trips formations, and it just wasn't a modern defense, okay? I think Patrick Graham's going to fix that this year, and hopefully that can help get the most out of very big talents, physically speaking, in terms of Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, help those guys take their game to the next level. And then in the secondary, you've got maybe one of, if not the best man-to-man cover corner duo in the National Football League on the outside, and Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean, who, by the way, Dean, coming off a career year, had the best year of his career last year. So he's not slowing down, even though he is an older player. And
top 5 corner in PFF, right?
Yeah, I think he was a top 5 graded corner in PFF. And they ran a lot of man coverage there in Tampa Bay. You bring in Jaquan Brisker, Pittsburgh native, to be kind of that third safety. And, you're getting Deshaun Elliott back. That's huge for this defense. And then I'm really excited to see what Jalen Ramsey's going to be this year, Ponzi. I think that he could be the straw that stirs the drink, the big nickel. Are we back? Okay. We'll see if that works. And if it doesn't, we'll just get right into our first segment. Oh, I see me again here. All right, so I think we're back. All right, so sorry for the technical difficulties there for a second, my friends. We do have a little bit of weather going on here outside of the studio, and some lightning and some thunder, so we might be getting, cutting in and out here. Hopefully not But just if there's a little bit of a pause, just realize that is what's happening. But we are now ready to get into our first segment of the day here, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are we ready to go on that, Ponzi? Okay. All right, without further ado, let's get into our first segment of the day here on Steelers Talk Live. The latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers is coming at you right now. You are watching Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get $50 in additional lineups from our friends at Prize Picks. And today on Steelers Talk, we got a lot to talk about here as Michael Pittman Jr. could be recruiting Juju Smith-Schuster back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a little interaction on social media that indicates Pittman wants Juju to rejoin the black and gold. Then also I'll be breaking down what I believe is going to be a very unique role for safety, corner, defensive back, whatever you want to call him, Jalen Ramsey here in the Steelers defense heading into the 2026 campaign. And then also I got more takeaways from the first day of Steelers OTAs. Players had the day off today, but OTAs continue tomorrow. But after watching some of the highlights from yesterday's practice, I have some more takeaways for you guys. But before we get into the first segment today, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to kick off tonight's show. We put in a ton of work to get you guys Steelers content on this channel 100% free every day. So if you appreciate that effort, click that thumbs up icon to get us going. All right, so our top story tonight, Michael Pittman Jr., new Steelers wide receiver, expresses interest on social media in free agent wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster signing with the Steelers and rejoining the black and gold after multiple years away with a number of different NFL franchises. This came via Instagram here, where Michael Pittman Jr. asked Juju, "When you coming home, OG?" with a little bee emoji on there, a little homage to the Killer Bee era that, of course, Juju was a part of in the later stages of it. But personally, guys, I'm going to pass on bringing back Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will do the same. It seems like every single offseason at this point we're talking about a story of, oh, should the Steelers bring back Juju? And they never do, no matter how much of a need wide receiver is, to be quite frank with you. And this year, that need is as small as it's ever been over the last several years, as the Steelers have actually done a pretty good job building this wide receiver room, in my opinion. But you can take a look at what Juju has done over the last several seasons. Last year, he had more yards than in any of the three previous seasons there with the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, they had the Rashee Rice situation, and Juju got to play a little bit earlier on in the year, but then he really wasn't playing by the time they got to the end of the year. Back in 2022 with Kansas City, had almost 1,000 yards, but since then hasn't really been a legitimate starting piece for any NFL offense, whether it was in New England or in Kansas City. And honestly, man, like, if you add Juju Smith-Schuster, I think Jeremy Bernard is better than him already. So if you're bringing in Juju, he's going to be brought in as a depth piece, as a backup, and I don't think Juju has a ton of interest in that, especially if a rookie is going to be playing over him. Also, I'm kind of excited to see what Roman Wilson is going to be able to do as a slot specialist this year. The previous regime under Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith tried to make him an outside receiver, and I thought coming out of Michigan, he was always supposed to be a slot specialist. That's what he was at Michigan, and he was one of the best in the country at that particular role. Now it seems like that's the role that he is destined to play in the Mike McCarthy era here as a wide receiver for a rotational piece, and I think that he can be a serviceable part of this rotation playing that role. You also have Caden Weegan and Ben Skoranek as other receivers that are expected to make the team this year, and when you account for Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf, along with all the guys that we've already talked about, that's already up to 6 wide receivers. Do the Steelers really want to carry 7 wide receivers, bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster, even for the vet minimum? Personally, I don't think there's really anything Juju provides that the Steelers don't already have. They already have size. They already have, run blocking ability from a lot of these guys. I just don't really see where Juju really fits with this offense this year. So for me, I'm definitely passing on bringing back Juju Smith-Schuster. But what say you guys? Would you sign Juju for the vet minimum here in Pittsburgh? Type S if you would sign him and bring him back, or type P if you would pass on him. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about SeatGeek, our other sponsor on today's show. While I do that, give me an S for sign or P for pass. And today's edition of Steelers Talk is made possible in part by our friends at SeatGeek. The Steelers 2026 schedule is now set, and tickets for every Steelers game this season, home, away, and international, is now available for purchase on the SeatGeek app. Use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of Steelers tickets, or any tickets for that matter. It doesn't have to be for a football game, but you guys can see kind of the layout of the stadium here for the season opener versus the Atlanta Falcons there at beautiful Acrisure Stadium. So a lot of great seats available, obviously, as tickets just became available last week. And whether it's a baseball game at PNC Park with the kids or an Ed Sheeran concert with the wife at Acrisure Stadium, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a value scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. When it comes to the app, guys, look for the green dots, because green obviously means good value, red means bad. So, of course, I have a code for you guys to get an even better deal on your next set of tickets. Use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets with our friends at SeatGeek. One more time, that's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later on. And a big thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Now I want to shift focus here to Jalen Ramsey, who, of course, is still on the Steelers roster, even though there's some speculation that the Steelers could maybe try and trade him or even cut him this offseason. The Steelers still have full belief in Jalen Ramsey, and his role in Patrick Graham's defense here is a bit of a mystery, because they keep talking about his versatility and how he can play safety, how he can play corner, how he can play nickel, but they haven't said outright what their plan is for Jalen Ramsey this year, so it is a little bit up in the air. But listen, man, Jalen Ramsey's cap hit heading into this season is still pretty darn high for a safety, especially $17.2 million, and a little bit more than that this year is his cap hit. So, like, he's still one of the higher paid, defensive backs in the National Football League, particularly if they're going to be playing him at safety. And plain and simply, guys, we saw it last year. Jalen Ramsey is not an elite man corner, especially playing on the outside that he used to be. I mean, in his prime, obviously with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and at times there during the Los Angeles Rams days when he was playing on the outside, he was unstoppable, right? When it comes to man-to-man coverage, the Steelers tried to use him in that way against certain receivers like Jamar Chase early on in the season, and, he got toasted, and he got frankly exposed as somebody that just doesn't move the way that he used to. But with that said, I think Ramsey could be Pittsburgh's biggest X factor on defense this year, because he is still a good football player, and especially for, a safety type, he's a pretty darn good athlete, all right? It's not like he's completely lost all of his speed and, all of his ability to play like a lot of people are kind of talking about with Jalen Ramsey. It's just he can't go one-on-one on the outside, pretty much anymore with like elite caliber wide receivers, but he still has a lot of strengths to his game. He's still one of the best run defending DBs in the National Football League, because he brings great size, great length, and great instincts. His tackling ability is super, super good still. He's probably the best tackling and run defense DB in the National Football League over the last decade. I don't think it's crazy to say that. Also, he's an awesome blitzer. They didn't do that enough with him last year, in my opinion. Hopefully, Patrick Graham uses that skill set of Ramsey's more, because he can really be a game changer blitzing from the nickel position. Also, he's really good in zone coverage when he has his eyes on the quarterback, and in match coverage where he's playing off coverage and he can attach to somebody. He's still really good at those two things. And he's also got that safety nickel flexibility, so you can theoretically use him as a disguise piece and, rotate him pre and post snap to confuse opposing quarterbacks. So what I think his role is going to be this year, guys, is he's going to be like that joker piece. He's going to be that, chess piece that they move all around the formation. I think when they play in their base formations, which is, 4 defensive backs on the field, I think he'll be actually this team's strong safety, and Deshaun Elliott will be their free safety, quote unquote. And then when they go to their big nickel packages on early downs, he will be their big nickel, so essentially a hybrid box linebacker and slot cornerback. And then on passing downs, I think they're going to be using him as like a true roamer over the middle of the field to read the eyes of the quarterback and create havoc on those passing down situations, especially because that Steelers pass rush is going to be getting after the QBs, and the quarterbacks are probably going to be looking to get rid of the ball pretty quickly in those passing down situations. But this is actually pretty similar to how like the Chargers used Derwin James and how the Detroit Lions used Brian Branch. mentioned, Derwin James is obviously is an awesome athlete, but like you wouldn't ask Derwin James to play, Jamar Chase one-on-one on the outside at corner, right? So I think Jalen Ramsey is absolutely still in that space of like big nickel safety type of dynamic chess piece that can definitely benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers this year and kind of be the straw that stirs the drink. And how I'm kind of envisioning this defense to look this year, guys, when they're in their base secondary, you got Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean as your two corners on the perimeter, and then Deshaun Elliott and Jalen Ramsey, they're going to be the two safeties there, right? And I think Ramsey will be the guy that if he has to come down and take a tight end and pass coverage or something like that, he will be the guy that ends up doing that, and Deshaun will be more of the, a deep part of the field type of protector. But then where I think that this defense will actually live most of the time is in their early down big nickel look here, where you have Jalen Ramsey, who is such a good run defender, such a good tackler. He's got good size. He's like 210 pounds. He can be kind of like a hybrid slot corner / box linebacker there as that big nickel. You still got Porter and Dean on the perimeter, but now you can bring in Jaquan Brisker as that other safety. Absolutely love this for early downs and to get this team into passing down situations where I really think that they can wreak havoc here. And that's kind of when you can put Brandon Echols out there, who's faster than Jalen Ramsey. He's more of a true slot corner where he's more shifty, he's smaller, he's faster, can keep up with the kind of these smaller, faster slot corners. And then Jalen Ramsey can kind of play that other safety position alongside Deshaun Elliott, and he can kind of roam over the middle of the defense, take things away, read the eyes of the quarterback, and play instinctual football on those passing downs. And, of course, you still got Porter and Dean shutting things down in man coverage on the outside. And because of Ramsey's versatility, his ability to play nickel as well as play safety, he could even play the linebacker responsibility if they want to kind of rotate things pre and post snap. I think they're absolutely going to deploy Ramsey in that way because of that versatility he does bring to the table. And I think Patrick Graham, somebody that's known for using, the talents of his players, would be remiss to not use Jalen Ramsey in that way. And I think that's why the Pittsburgh Steelers are willing to pay Jalen as much as they're paying him this year against the cap. Over $17 million is because they think he's worth that. So obviously we'll see if he is, but I still think Jalen Ramsey's a damn good football player, guys. And I think that now that he can kind of play more of that versatile type of chess piece role as a big nickel this year, I think it's going to take this secondary and this defense as a whole to the next level here in 2026. So still to come here on Steelers Talk. I got more Steelers OTA takeaways. Brian Angelico, Patrick Graham, and Danny Crossman, the coordinators here in Pittsburgh, took the podium in Pittsburgh earlier today. And also I was able to pick up some more things after watching the practice tape from yesterday. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor today here at Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever. And there's no better place to cash in during playoff season than with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. You guys can take a look at my lineup here for next year's football season. I'm taking the more on Myles Garrett, the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for Jeremy Bernard. So you guys can download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with our friends at Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. So now some more early OTA takeaways for you guys. Going over the practice film from yesterday and the tape that was released. Jeremy Bernard is getting early praise from Brian Angelico and Michael Pittman Jr., but he was also getting some run with the ones yesterday. And if you don't know what that kind of terminology means, it means he was with the first team offense. He was kind of rotating in and out with Roman Wilson in that particular spot. Roman did get more reps than Jeremy did, but it's nice to see that this team already is kind of working in Jeremy Bernard in that first team. And Michael Pittman Jr. and Brian Angelico have been talking about Bernard's study habits outside of the training facility and how he already knows the whole offense and, he's picking it up very quickly. He is a pro's pro, man, and that's something that we knew about him coming in. Even when the Steelers drafted him, is that you're not going to have to worry about Jeremy Bernard working hard. This guy is the consummate professional and a great piece to add to this locker room. Then speaking of the offense, it sounds like big personnel is not going away, specifically when it comes to the 12 personnel packages. in terms of Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington being out there on the field at the same time. Muth is more of that, true receiving tight end, and then Darnell is more of a blocking type of guy, almost like a sixth offensive lineman that's also an excellent yak threat as like a check flat player. Not much of like a route runner or anything like that, but Darnell is certainly an X factor that this team really missed when he got injured at the end of last season. That doesn't get talked about enough in terms of why the Steelers offense struggled at the end of the year, is because Darnell wasn't out there. But, getting Jonnu Smith's ass out of here, he was the leading snap getter in the tight end room last year. Taking those snaps, splitting them up between Muth and Darnell, I think will be a really good thing for this offense. It's really the secret sauce that the Steelers have, is that they have two really, really good tight ends, and then they can also bring on a jumbo tight end in Spencer Anderson. Aaron Rodgers has talked about how much he loved those 6-0 line packages from last year. I would assume that is a part of the game plan for the Steelers again this year on offense. Then something else that was interesting is that when you watch the reps of the first team offense yesterday, you notice that a certain running back out of Iowa was working with the first team quite a bit, and that would of course be Caleb Johnson. Now, obviously with them bringing in Rico Dowdle this year, KJ is going to be relegated, at least to start the season, as the number 3 running back. And really the only way he's going to get significant playing time this year is if either Jaylen Warren or Rico Dowdle, God forbid, goes down with an injury. But, injuries do happen, and, you got to have Caleb ready to go to take on, some of these reps if one of these guys goes down with an injury. And you got to make sure that he's progressing in some of these things he needed to get better at coming into the league. Pass protection, catching the football out of the backfield. You got to make sure he's protecting the football. He had a couple fumbles last year in some limited time. So Caleb is still somebody that I'm sure the Steelers want to believe in, but he's got to prove it, right? So the fact that he's getting some first-team reps is a good sign for him. But I'm very intrigued to see what Caleb Johnson looks like for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Then the final thing that I want to talk about here on today's show is Michael Pittman Jr.'s offseason workout with Aaron Rodgers. He was asked yesterday during his post-practice press conference if he had any throwing sessions with Aaron throughout the offseason, and he confirmed he did have a throwing session with Aaron before he ended up deciding to come back to Pittsburgh. They're in L.A. They're both guys that train out in the L.A. area, so it makes sense for them to link up. And they've known each other from before this whole experiment now with them playing together here in Pittsburgh. So I think that's going to be a really cool connection. Obviously, because they live in a similar area of the country, they're going to be able to probably link up a couple more times during the offseason. I'm sure Aaron will have people out to his crib in Malibu again for another offseason workout. But even outside of that, if they're both living in the L.A. area, it would not surprise me if these guys link up a lot more with a few more sessions with the QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And by the time we get to the season, hopefully Rodgers and Pittman have that connection down pat. And he can be a legitimate contributor for this team right away, starting in week 1 versus the Falcons. So let me know more or less down there in the comment section. Will Michael Pittman Jr. have more or less than 800 yards receiving this season? Give me an M for more or L for less. Last year he had about, 780 yards receiving. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And that'll be it for today's slate of Steelers news and rumors. Steelers OTAs continue on tomorrow, and it's possible, I guess, we could hear from Aaron Rodgers. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. First segment in the books. Coming up next, ESPN has predicted every single stat for every single starting player for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2026. I'm going to be reacting to that here in just a moment, but first we'll catch up on some Super Chats. Agent Jedi, that's a cool picture right there, even though a Jedi would never have a red and a purple lightsaber. A Sith would have 2 red, Star Wars nerd here. He says, Jack, your unbiased, honest opinion on who wins the AFC North. Cincinnati drew the 3rd easiest strength of schedule, playing the AFC and NFC South. Burrow might throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns with this schedule. Yeah, man, I would say right now there's 3 teams that could realistically win it. The Ravens could win it, the Steelers could win it, and the Bengals could win it. It's just too early to fully predict because you can't predict injuries and all this different stuff. But the one thing I do know is that the Steelers are the team that needs to be unseeded. All right, we are the AFC North champions as we sit here today, and I know for a fact Cincinnati usually doesn't start seasons off on the right foot, and Joe Burrow is very frequently injured. So it would not surprise me at all if Burrow gets injured for another, stretch of season this year. And then also, Baltimore, they're exciting because they got all that new blood in there, but there's not a lot of experience in that Baltimore coaching staff, right? Jesse Minter has never been a head coach. Declan Doyle has never called plays at the NFL level. All right, there's a lot of things that are unknowns about that Baltimore Ravens coaching staff in particular. And I think we kind of learned our lesson last year that, you can't just assume that Lamar Jackson is going to be, what we've become accustomed to here over the last half decade. It's very possible that as he continues to get older, he's starting to lose some of that athleticism and that escapability that made him so dynamic and electric. If that continues to wane heading into next season, I think the Steelers are absolutely still in the hunt here. All right, if I had to put kind of like a wager on it or like odds, I'd probably say Baltimore number 1, Cincy 2, Steelers 3. But I think it's really close. I think that any of these 3 teams could realistically win it. It just really comes down to, if the Steelers defense can take a jump this year. I feel pretty confident the offense will take a jump this year. But we do expect Cincinnati on both sides of the ball to take major jumps with Burrow healthy. The defense adding Sexy Dexy and, some of these other pieces on defense. So their defense should be better this year. And then, of course, Baltimore is still very talented. So, I think that the top of the AFC North, it's going to be a battle, man. And you got to really come to war for those AFC North division battles. But right now, I would say the best way I can answer your question, Agent Jedi, is, all 3 of these teams, I think, have a realistic chance of winning it this year. $10 from Alex L. says, supporting the channel. Jack, keep up the good work. I appreciate you, Alex. You're a real one. Been around for a long time. $5 from Bernard says, I always listen to Crowley and Dickerson on 93.7 and stay away from Pony and Mulsey. Don't blame you for that. Don't blame you for that at all. I don't really listen to 93.7, if I'm being completely honest with you. I kind of do my own stuff there. But, if you're going to listen to a pair of guys at 93.7, I think that those guys do a good job. $2 from Bernard says, Sean King said A-Rod is a bad teammate. Sean King doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. $5 from Tegan Stewart says, how did both Aller and Howard look on the OTA practice film? Well, I wasn't. So obviously what I have access to is the same stuff you have access to. I wasn't actually at the facility. But obviously the clips that come out and you can kind of analyze those. Listen, man, it's OTAs. All right. In the media viewing portion of it was not during the 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. It was during install period. So it's not like, these guys were dicing up defenses. It's no, it was pretty much a walk-through pace is what the media had access to. So they looked fine is the answer to the question. They looked fine. Now, it is worth noting, Ponzi, that Howard was the QB2 yesterday on the first day of OTAs in the rotation, and Rudolph was QB3. The fact that is already the case probably indicates that the team probably is looking to Howard to be their QB2 this year, but obviously Howard's going to have to earn that role. But right now it does seem like the job is his to lose. The only way Howard, I think, gets cut or waived by the end of the training camp in preseason is if Rudolph is just clearly playing better than him and Howard is just not playing well at all. So pressure's a little bit on Will Howard here, but the job is his to lose, and that's a good position you want to be in if you're Will Howard. All right, man. Well, let's get into our next segment, which is Mike Clay from ESPN, who has predicted all the stats for Aaron Rodgers and all the receivers and all the running backs and the defensive players here for Pittsburgh and projects how many wins the Steelers will have here in 2026. Let's break it down right now, right here on Steelers Talk. Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today on the show, we're going to be talking about ESPN's Mike Clay, who has put out his official stat projections for the 2026 Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me just tell you guys right now, a little spoiler alert, I don't agree with these projections. But you first, let me know down there in the comments section. Give me a bold prediction that you have for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. It could be a good bold prediction. It could be a bad bold prediction. or positive or negative, I should say. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Give me a hot take that you have about the Steelers heading into this year. So first, let's talk about what ESPN is projecting for Aaron Rodgers' stat line as he goes into his 22nd NFL campaign and his age 43 season. Now, you can take a look here at what they're projecting for him. 63.7% completion percentage with over 3,700 yards, 21 total touchdowns, so that's 20 passing, 1 rushing with 11 interceptions, and they project him taking 38 sacks this year as the quarterback of the Steelers. And to kind of juxtapose that compared to what it was last year, let's compare last year's stats and kind of final numbers compared to what they're projecting for Rodgers this year. And you can see here, it's pretty clearly worse. All right, he has more passing yards, but everything else is worse, right? Worse completion percentage, less total touchdowns, more interceptions, way more sacks. So let me just get this straight, Mike Clay. Rodgers is being projected to have a worse season this year despite getting upgrades to his offensive play caller and his receiving weapons? Like, really? We think that that's going to result in a worse season for Aaron Rodgers? I'm sorry. I just can't get behind that. I think Aaron Rodgers is pretty clearly going to have a better season in year 2 here in Pittsburgh than in year 1 here in Pittsburgh. I think the question is just how much of a better season is it going to be? And that's kind of where I'm at with the Aaron Rodgers situation right now. I think that he's clearly going to be better here in 2026 than he was in 2025 because he actually has a legitimate NFL wide receiver trio. He's going to have a good running back duo to hand the ball off to early on in games, right? He's going to have, I think, a pretty decent young offensive line to protect him. And even if that young offensive line has some struggles this year, he's already somebody that gets rid of the ball extremely quickly and limits sacks. So I'm sorry, man. I think that Aaron is going to improve in every single category this year, or at least most of them. And this projection that he's going to somehow be a worse quarterback despite better play calling and better weapons around him, I think is a ridiculous take by ESPN and Mike Clay. So true or false, let me know down there in the comments section. Aaron Rodgers can be a top 12 producer at the quarterback position this year. Give me a T if you think that statement is true, or an F if you think that statement is false. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our presenting sponsor. While I talk about Prize Picks, give me a T for true or F for false. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today here at Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, guys, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season than with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports options to choose from as well, with a number of different stat projections to choose from to truly customize your daily fantasy lineups. You guys can take a look here at this future projection for next year's football season. I'm taking the more on sacks for Myles Garrett, the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for Jeremy Bernard. In this particular projection, you guys can win $95 with a $20 entry fee if you get all 3 correct. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with our friends at Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring Steelers Talk. Moving on here to the projected receiving stats for the Pittsburgh Steelers from ESPN's Mike Clay. He has DK Metcalf getting 941 yards, once again getting less than 1,000 yards for a receiver that's making $30 million a season. Then Michael Pittman Jr. expected to get just over 800 yards and 4 touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth is expected to get the 3rd most receiving yards with 601. Jeremy Bernard, the rookie out of Alabama, is projected to get 593 with 3 touchdowns. And Darnell Washington rounding out the group here in the top 5 with slightly over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, the guy that I want to focus on here with the projections is DK Metcalf, because Mike Clay is projecting that they have pretty much the same amount of catches and the same amount of targets, a little bit more targets for DK Metcalf this year, but in slightly more yards, but the average being about the same and the touchdowns being identical. So let me get this straight, Mike Clay. DK is expected to have pretty much the same exact season this year, despite playing in 2 more projected football games and getting better wide receiver help around him, where he's going to have less double teams. He's going to have less safety attention on him. He's going to play worse in that environment. Get out of town, man. DK is going to be getting way more opportunities this year, a lot more one-on-one looks, and Aaron Rodgers is going to prioritize getting him the football when he has those opportunities to go deep to DK Metcalf, because his superpower is separating to the vertical level of the field, and then when he has the ball in his hands, taking that thing to the house. So I think DK is going to have a much better season this year than he had last, because Michael Pittman Jr., Jeremy Bernard, Pat Freiermuth are going to draw attention away from him, something that didn't happen last year with Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson and Adam Thielen and MVS. Like, people just honed in on DK Metcalf, and obviously he missed the final 2 games of the regular season, and obviously those things impacted the kinds of numbers that he could have put up. This year he doesn't have any of those limitations, or we hope he won't have any of those limitations. Keep your hands to yourself, DK. But if he does that, he should, I think, easily clear 1,200 yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year and maybe get close to double-digit touchdowns. Then we get to the running back projected stats here for Rico Dowdle and Jaylen Warren, and you guys can see here they're going to be getting around a 50-50 split in terms of total touches is what they're projected to get, with Rico Dowdle getting close to 1,000 yards rushing, over 1,000 scrimmage yards though when you include the 210 yards as a receiver, and then 6 total touchdowns, 5 on the ground with 1 as a receiver. And Jaylen Warren is expected to also have over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, with a little bit less than 800 yards rushing, with over 300 as a receiver, putting up 5 touchdowns of his own. So you guys can take a look here at what Mike Clay is projecting for the Steelers' passing stat ranks here this year. He's expecting this team to throw the football a lot, the 3rd most attempts with the 7th most completions. But despite throwing the ball a lot, he's not expecting a lot of efficiency. 25th in yards, 25th in touchdowns, dead middle in interceptions, with with a below average number of sacks heading into this upcoming season. Then when it comes to the rushing offense, he's projecting it to be even worse. 28th in attempts, 26th in yards on the ground for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then 29th in rushing touchdowns. So I think it's pretty safe to say here that Mike Clay doesn't necessarily think the Steelers offense is going to be taking a jump this year. His projected rank for the Steelers offense here in 2026 is 26. So that is obviously bottom 10 in the league. And I don't even think the Steelers offense last year was this bad. I think that, even without the wide receivers they have this year, they were better than this. They were better than the 26th best offense in football last year. So I think that this is a ridiculous ranking, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But hey, it's ESPN, right? But before we get into the defensive stat projections here, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you appreciate our hard work that we put in here at Steelers Talk to get you guys free, informative Steelers content every day. We really do burn the midnight oil, especially during things like draft season, free agency, during the actual NFL season. So if you guys appreciate that work, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to help this video be the best it can be. So now we're on to the defensive projections for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And safe to say that I disagree with some of these from Mike Clay. First of all, he is projecting a big step backwards from Cam Hayward, who continues to play at an all-pro level. He's certainly projecting him not to this year. Yes, he's expected to lead the defensive linemen in tackles, but only 3 sacks when he's usually around the 7-sack range. I think he'll continue to play at that level this year, but obviously ESPN disagrees with that. They actually have Derek Harmon and Keanu Benton leading this interior D-line group in sacks with 3.5 apiece, and adding another 1.5 sacks from Sebastian Joseph Day, who's expected to be the 4th leading snap getter. Honestly, I think that his snap count will be a lot closer to Keanu Benton's, because I think he'll play more on early downs than what ESPN is projecting. But then we get to the edge rushers here, and once again, I think they're projecting TJ Watt's sack total a little low, 7.5. We'll talk about him here in a second, but they project Alex Highsmith to lead this team in sacks this year with 9. Nick Herbig with only 5.5 sacks this year, and Jack Sawyer adding 1 to the total for the edge rushers. Now, just so you guys know, TJ Watt had 7 sacks last year in 14 games. Obviously, he missed a decent chunk of the season with the lung injury that he suffered. And if he gets 7.5 sacks, only a 1/2 sack more in a 17-game schedule like ESPN is projecting here, that's an absolute joke. And frankly, TJ Watt would be one of, if not the most overpaid player in the National Football League if that's the case. I think this scheme with Patrick Graham is going to put TJ Watt in a lot more advantageous pass rush situations. I'm expecting 12 to 15 sacks from TJ Watt this year. I think he's going to have a true bounce-back season in terms of the sack production. He just has to make sure he stays on the field. Over the last several years, he's dealt with some sort of injury that has taken him off the field at some juncture. But then we get to the second level of the defense here at the linebacking crew. They're projecting 120 tackles for Patrick Queen with 2 sacks and an interception for Queenie. Not really projecting a whole bunch else here from the rest of the group. They don't even project Wilson, Holcomb, or Harrison to get a single interception throughout the course of the entire season. And then you get to the secondary. They're expecting 2 interceptions apiece from JPJ, Jamel Dean, Deshaun Elliott, and Jaquan Brisker. And they're expecting another one from Jalen Ramsey and expecting a sack on top of that from Mr. Ramsey. So the projected defensive stat ranks, a lot better than the offense, right? 11th in tackles, 2nd in sacks, and 20th in interceptions. I think with the kind of secondary talent they have here, I think they're probably going to rank higher than 20th in interceptions. I don't know why that's the projection here. But overall, the projected defensive rank here from Mike Clay for the Steelers is 2nd, and I would certainly take that. And by the way, the Steelers rank 2nd in his projections from a defensive perspective here, and that is with significant, decreases in sacks from Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. If those guys put up the sack numbers that I think they're capable of, it's very possible that based on this projected model, that the Steelers could be the number 1 defense in football this year. And you guys can take a look here at where ESPN ranks the offense and the defense and the overall team for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They rank, obviously, the offense 26th with the defense ranked 2nd. Leading to the 18th overall club, which is obviously below average among NFL teams heading into the year. Now, my take on this, guys, is that if Pittsburgh has a top 2 defense this year, if they have a legitimately elite defense, and now you pair that up with an offense surrounding Aaron Rodgers that is just better this year, like the play calling should be better, the weapons around him are undeniably better. You can make an argument that the offensive line could be better this year. Just given all that information, like if they have a top 2 defense, I think this team easily wins double-digit games. I think they're going to be right in the mix to win the AFC North. And frankly, they'll have a chance to go on a run in the playoffs this year if they are that good on both sides of the ball. So ESPN projects the Steelers to win 9 games this year. So obviously that's 1 game less than they won last year with what I would say is an inferior football team, right? So for me, I have a projected win total of 11 wins. I think that's a very reasonable expectation for a team that got better this year. You're going to have added chemistry with Aaron Rodgers coming back on the offensive side of the ball. I think the defensive coaching and scheme is going to really elevate the talent that is in this Steelers defense. And I think at the end of the day here, we're looking at an 11 or 12 win Pittsburgh Steelers football club here in 2026. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. How many wins do you think the Steelers get this season? I'm projecting 11. Let me know your take down there in the comment section for how many wins you think the black and gold will collect this season. And that'll be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, we only got one more segment until our next Madden Sim here, guys, so don't go anywhere. $5 from Bernard says Florio and Sims was hard on A-Rod today for calling out his teammates. What did he call him out on?
I don't know, man. I don't keep up with it.
We literally haven't heard from Rodgers. Are they talking about him like
in the past?
Are they talking about him like yelling at players for not doing the right thing on the field?
Because
like what would we rather have? Would we rather have a quarterback that's like, Russell Wilson, you're good, King, you're good. It's okay you make a mistake. Or Aaron Rodgers being like, we're not going to tolerate that shit. I would much prefer Rodgers' style of leadership. And by the way, that style of leadership led to him being revered by his teammates last year. According to Adam Schefter and Brooke Pryor, every single person in the Steelers locker room wanted Rodgers back this year. You don't do that if you hate the guy and you think he's a terrible leader.
I don't know, man.
Like, the Steelers players clearly respect Aaron Rodgers enough to take that harsh criticism because guess what? If Aaron Rodgers is yelling at you for doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing, there's a reason why he's doing it. He's not just doing it to be an ass. He's doing it because he cares about the end product he puts on the field. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you deserve to get yelled at, frankly. Like what is this? Pee-wee football? Where we're supposed to be like, it's okay. No, it's not. So Florio and Sims are just pussies if that's the take that they had.
Look, man, I'm not going to hear anything from Chris Sims when he expected to be a Nepo baby. And like, if you ever look at the early Tampa Bay footage with him and John Gruden, it is hilarious how flustered he was just as a quarterback. Like, it's just incredible. Like, he has, obviously, media members will have that, but
just because you're mentally weak, Chris Sims, doesn't mean that the rest of the players in the Steelers locker room are.
Man.
Okay, they're grown men. They know how to take some harsh criticism when it's deserved. By the way.
Yeah,
when
like,
it's deserved.
Just don't fuck up.
Like, it's not like Aaron Rodgers throws a 30-yard pass downfield and you make a catch and he's gonna come at you screaming. That's not gonna happen.
And not to besmirch a legacy name here, but Ben Roethlisberger was notorious sometimes for putting his teammates on blast when they didn't deserve it.
And by the way, Aaron Rodgers almost never puts players on blast. Or last year anyway, he almost never put any players on blast
except Jonnu.
Jonnu. One time. That
was funny.
But listen, man, as we know, Jonnu fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
He left a touchdown on the field in a game we lost by less than a touchdown.
And then the Lions game, man.
And like Rodgers says, everyone's at the film sessions. Everyone should know what to do. And he didn't call out Jonnu by name, by the way. He did not say, Jonnu Smith, fuck this up. He said, everyone goes to the meetings. Everyone should know what I want done on the field, which is a more than fair point to bring up in a press conference, especially if you're not calling someone out by name. Every time that he called out a player in a press conference last year, it was in a positive connotation. Every time.
Yep.
Unless he was asked a question directly about a mistake a player made, in that case, he was usually very generous. And he would say something like, "Yeah, it's a big mistake, but we believe in him," and all this. Like, he wouldn't say, "Oh, this guy made a huge mistake. He knows better than that." Like, he was never taking that tone in a press conference last year.
He did not harsh criticism of Roman Wilson, but he did critique Roman Wilson throughout the season. And I think early on,
I think he was very complimentary throughout the year of Roman. I think behind the scenes he was very critical of him because he just wouldn't run routes on the proper timing.
Exactly.
And he needs to grow up in that way. And then of course Steelers fans would post screenshots of Roman Wilson being open on a play. But it's you have to realize with a guy like Rodgers, he's expecting you to come open at a certain time because he gets through his progression so quickly where if you're not open by a certain point in the progression, you're not getting the ball. It doesn't matter if you're open at some other point during the rep.
It is Madden,
and that's kind of the nuance kind of thing when it comes to film analysis. And because of NFL Plus, everyone thinks that they're a film expert, and they watch a play and they don't know the process of the play, and they're like, "Look, Roman Wilson's wide open," but it's was that even a part of the progression? Was he running at the proper timing of the progression? These are things that the layman doesn't know, right? So I don't know, man. There's a lot of just bullshit, screenshot warriors out there on Twitter.
You know what it reminds me of, Sperry? You ever play Madden and you're like, "Oh man, B was wide open on this play," as your quarterback's getting sacked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminds me of. "Oh man, look, Roman Wilson was so wide open." Rodgers is looking the other way. You expect him to have eyes on the right side of his body, while he's looking left? That doesn't make sense, man.
Yep. $2 from Bernard Nixon. This is Bernard going to be wide receiver 3 come the season. I think he is. I think him and Roman Wilson will split reps as the quote-unquote 3, but I also feel like they're going to be doing a lot of 12 personnel as well. With Muth and Darnell on the field at the same time. So there's going to be, your core players that are out there on almost every play. And frankly, when it comes to the skill position players, the only two that really fit into that on the field on almost every play category are DK and Pittman. Those are the two players that'll probably be out there on almost every play. Everybody else, Darnell, Muth, Bernard, Roman, the two running backs, they're going to be in a somewhat rotational role. They'll all have their kind of spot and their responsibility in the offense, and in certain matchups and in certain concepts, they're going to be playing, right? So the question of who's going to get the third most receiver snaps this year and get the most opportunity, it's going to be Bernard, in my opinion, just because he's more versatile. He can line up outside and inside. I think that Roman is a slot-only guy. You can line up Bernard in the backfield. He's great after the catch. Roman is not great after the catch, right? So I do think Bernard will end up getting more snaps this year than Roman, but, there will be a somewhat of a rotation there alongside DK and Pittman. All right, okay, we got a rapid-fire Bernard because he's sending in a bunch of twos. Bernard says, punt for the season. Also pumped for the season. Steelers fans get pumped. He says, still got home. Hope for Roman. Me too, especially as like a fourth piece in a rotation. He's got 4.3 speed. He's got, pretty solid hands. He's actually going to be playing the position he was supposed to play coming out of Michigan. So I think this year he'll have a mini breakout. It's not going to be like, oh my gosh, he's like a full-time starter, but it's like he's going to be a nice piece. $2 from Bernard says ESPN can't stand A-Rod. Yep. It's kind of crazy, man. You add Michael Pittman Jr., Jeremy Bernard, Roman Wilson's playing in the right spot. You get rid of Jonnu Smith. Darnell Washington's back healthy. And yet Aaron Rodgers is gonna be worse this year. Like, I just don't understand the thinking at all. The only way that I think there's two ways Rodgers could get worse this year. The first is if he loses his arm strength, which I don't see happening. The second way is Mike McCarthy just sucks as a play caller, which maybe is the case. Maybe he's just so outdated he sucks, but like the guy just churns out top 10 offenses. So I just really doubt he's going to be a bad play caller. And
one of those things too, Sperry, is that like you look at Mike McCarthy everywhere he's gone, and people will say, oh, he hasn't evolved. Like, even in Dallas, though, he evolved his playbook. He used a lot more motions. He used, like, a lot of different checks for Dak Prescott. He used a lot of different ideas and concepts as he took a year off of football. And what did he do again? Took another year off of football. He was studying the game, guys.
And also, Aaron Rodgers himself has been collaborating on this offensive playbook since March. So,
yeah,
like, I think this offense is going to be perfectly tailored to Rodgers' skill set and what he likes to do. So, I think I just don't understand the reasoning for why people think he's going to be worse this year. The only reason I can think of is that the arm strength leaves him, or if McCarthy just sucks. But like, I just don't see those two things as super likely. So, $2 from Bernard says, I think A-Rod will throw it downfield more. I completely agree. There's more downfield weapons to throw to, right? So when you have more people that are capable of getting open down the field, guess what? The ball's going to go down there more often, right? So I still think that this team will really rely on quick game and screens and yak stuff. Jeremy Bernard, I think, will be a big part of that. Jaylen Warren will be a big part of that. DK will be a big part of that. But I also think this team, definitely is built to throw the ball downfield more. And Mike McCarthy loves to throw the ball vertically. All right, that is kind of his MO, is he loves to throw the ball downfield. So we saw last year, man, Rodgers is still more than capable of throwing downfield. It's just he chose not to do it last year because it wasn't the strength of the team. He was playing to the strength of the offense, which was yak threats and getting the ball out quickly, not taking negative plays. With a limited receiver room, you kind of have to play that way. So that's why Rodgers played that way last year. And hopefully now with McCarthy coming in, better weapons, the ball goes downfield more than it did last year. $2 from Bernard says AB went at Big Ben. I mean, AB is a crazy person, so I'm not surprised. Bernard with a 2 again says, Jack, are you into Steelers drama? Not really. I'm more about analyzing the game aspect of it than analyzing the drama of it. $2 from Hunter says, thoughts on Spencer versus Hoffman as players. I probably would prefer Brock Hoffman. I think that, Spence has been okay when he's been asked to play guard, but he's been a replacement level at best. He's not necessarily like starter level. Hoffman, though, when he's come in and he's played right guard for the Cowboys a number of times since he was brought in, he's been very solid. So I think Hoffman has played better than Spence throughout their careers as NFL guards. But also, if Jennings Dunker's ready to play day one, he's going to play. And, you don't draft an offensive lineman that early, and him showing out in camp, like, if he shows out in camp, he's going to get the job, plain and simply. So if it's between Spencer and Hoffman, though, and Dunker's not ready, then I think Hoffman is the guy I would take the bet on. $5 from JV Free says, if you're not excited about this team, pick another team or sport. 11-6 at minimum with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Congrats on getting married. Be fruitful. Appreciate you, JV Free. Just think about what he's asking me to do there with that final line there. $5 from Tegan Stewart. It's like my dad telling me to get busy. Do you think 13-4 is a good prediction with a split with the Bengals and Ravens along with losses to the Eagles and Pats? Personally, I have 11 wins for the Steelers, but I honestly think the ceiling is closer to 12-5 than 13-4. I just think that the schedule's tough enough where it's like, if they're 13-4, man, like that is number one seed territory right there. All right, like you're expecting number one seed if you're thinking 13-4, Tegan. I don't know if I'm quite there with the Steelers, but I absolutely think 11-12 wins is very, very realistic. 13-4 would be like best case scenario in my opinion. All right, man. Well, let's talk about Daylen Everette, third-round corner out of Georgia here in my player profile and scouting report. And then after that, we have our next Madden Sim. Week 2 versus the New England Patriots is coming up here soon, guys, so don't go anywhere. We got over 400 people watching live here on a Tuesday, so thank you guys all for joining us here this evening. All right, let's get into our next segment here. Daylen Everette's player profile and scouting report is coming at you right now. Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today it's time to meet Steelers rookie cornerback Daylen Everette out of Georgia. He was a third-round selection, pick number 85 this year in the 2026 NFL Draft. So today I'm going to be sharing my scouting report, the pros, the cons, what I expect his role to be here in Pittsburgh, and not only for the short term, but also for the long term. Now, before we get into Daylen's scouting report here today, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to welcome Daylen Everette to the Steel City. There's a nice picture of him smiling, signing his rookie contract. So if you guys want to welcome Daylen to the 412, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to help out today's show. All right, so now let's talk about the pros when it comes to Daylen Everette. First of all, the size and speed combination is nice. All right, he's a big-bodied guy with over 31-inch arms, so good length for a corner, and he runs in the 4.3s, man, a 4.38 40-yard dash. The 10-yard and 20-yard splits were excellent as well. Awesome straight line athlete. All right, and he ended up with a relative athletic score of 9.88. And obviously, Omar Khan and the Steelers love their Georgia Bulldogs, and especially when they run in the 4.3s at that size, almost 200 pounds. And I think on film, he actually does a good job using his length effectively, not only as a tackler, which we'll talk about here in a second, but also in coverage. If he is within the area of the football, he's very accurate with getting his hand on the football and making plays on the ball. But as you'll see once we get into the cons, it's about being around the football, which is the issue with Daylen Everette for me. But then he is an awesome run defender, man. One of the best run defending corners in this class. Like, he's got a good frame with long arms, and he's a very solid tackler. And he really cleaned that up. Back in 2024 at Georgia, he had a lot more missed tackles, a lot more whiffs. Really cleaned that up last year, where he's got good run diagnostics. He's got great physicality and motor. And then, he's got the body type to really be a solid tackler at the NFL level, and he showed that playing in the SEC this past year. A really solid open field tacklers, and you have to have that as a corner, right? You're going to have screens out there. You're going to have running backs catching flats. Got to go and make a tackle in the open field. He really showed an ability to do that with the Bulldogs in their defense last year. And then where I think he's best in coverage is I think he's a decent zone defender when he can have his eyes on the quarterback and he can kind of play with instincts. That's really where he's at his best. And then I also think he's okay as a press jam player. Where he's in the face of somebody and he uses those long arms to kind of shut them down. That's really where he's most effective as a man-to-man defender. But that's a pretty decent starting point there for somebody that the Steelers view as a developmental corner. And coming up next here on Steelers Talk, I'm going to be breaking down the cons and the concerns that I have about Daylen Everette as he heads into the National Football League, specifically in this defense led by Patrick Graham. And then I'm going to break down his likely role with the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the 2026 campaign. But before we get into the rest of today's show, I want to tell you about our presenting sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season And with our friends at Prize Picks, the app is super easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from, as well as a number of different stat projections in those sports to choose from to truly customize your daily fantasy sports experience. And you guys can take a look here at this future projection I have for this year's football season, taking the more on sacks for Myles Garrett, the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for rookie receiver Jeremy Bernard. This particular projection, I can put in $20 and win 95 if I get all three correct in what Prize Picks calls a power play. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring Steelers Talk. Now, the cons with Daylen Everette for me start with his feet, and even though, he's a very long striding, very fast, straight line athlete, I think when it comes to change of direction ability, when it comes to agility, when it comes to mirroring people both in man and in match coverage, he's got very heavy feet and stiff hips, all right? And if you're going to be a man-to-man corner in the National Football League, you really have to be able to, have fluid hips, and you got to be light on your feet so that you can really adjust to sudden route breaks from really good route runners at the National Football League level. And frankly, when you watch Daylen Everette play at Georgia, if he was ever in man or in match coverage, teams really made it a point to target him in coverage with their best route runner. And I think his coverage ability in man and match is just not where you want it to be. And I think that Daylen is somebody that fits best with a team that plays a lot of zone coverage, where he would have been perfect for like the classic Seattle 3. Where he just plays in cover 3 all the time, and he just has his eyes on the quarterback, and he's bailing from an off-coverage alignment or a press alignment, and that's really what he's built to do. But really, the modern-day NFL, it's a lot of match coverage, it's a lot of man coverage if your defense can do it, and the Steelers want to run a lot of man coverage. So let's just say that there's a reason why Daylen Everette didn't do the agility testing at the Combine. It's because he probably knows those scores would have been really bad. With his stiff hips, with his heavier feet, and the lack of change of direction ability, that doesn't bode well for his chances of being a good man player on the perimeter at the NFL, in my opinion. And that's one of the main reasons why I didn't like the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the third round. And here's the thing, man. It does appear that new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham wants to play a lot of man coverage and match coverage here in Pittsburgh, and I'm sure they'll be throwing in some zone in there, and I'm sure he could do that kind of stuff, but if he's going to project as a future starter in this defense and they want to continue to play man coverage across the board there, I don't know if Daylen Everette's going to be the best fit for this defense. Now, Patrick Graham is the type of guy that has been known to, tailor his scheme to his players' talents, and maybe they switch up the kind of scheme they run if Everette ever becomes a starter here. But I don't really think Everett's ever going to be a good man-to-man corner in this league. And if he does play corner, I think he's going to have to play in more of a zone-heavy scheme in order to have success. And honestly, man, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, what I would be maybe interested in doing with Everette is moving him to safety, because I think, with his size, and his speed in particular, his true sideline-to-sideline speed as a straight-line athlete, he could project as a future free safety in this league. And he's a pretty good tackler out in open space. That bodes well for him as well. And I think that in year one here, Everett's role is probably going to be special teams only. His tackling ability and his size should be, decent in terms of contributing as a special teamer. I think that's part of the reason why the Steelers liked drafting him, is because while he sits and develops behind, what's frankly a very deep outside cornerback room, you got Jamel Dean, Joey Porter Jr., Sante Samuel Jr. is still here. Brandon Echols can play on the outside if you need him to. Jalen Ramsey in an emergency can play out there. So Everett's going to have the time to sit, learn, and develop. And I think that the Steelers feel like they can turn him into a starting corner. But if it doesn't work out, I do think I would probably recommend this team move him to safety at some point, because I think he does have the physical skill set to potentially do that in this Steelers defense. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments. Should Pittsburgh move Daylen Everette to safety? Give me a yes or no down there in the comment section. For me, if Patrick Graham plans on making this a man coverage defense for years to come, I would answer yes to this question, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Now, if you guys didn't know, we have rookie profiles and scouting reports on all the other big-name players the Steelers drafted this year, including Drew Aller, Max Ahanicher, of course, receiver Jeremy Bernard, and we recently put one out on offensive lineman Jennings Dunker. So if you guys want to check out our rookie scouting report series, I'm going to put the Chip to the Jennings Dunker video in the top right here. And coming up next is actually another Iowa Hawkeye, rookie wide receiver Caden Weegan, who of course is a great punt and kickoff return man, but I think he might actually be able to contribute as well as a nice depth piece as a receiver. Can't wait to break down Caden Weegan with you guys in a future video here, but that'll be it for today's show. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, we're about to get into our next Madden Sim, Week 2 versus the New England Patriots. Catching up on some Super Chats here. Before we get into the stream, Tegan Stewart with a 2 says, are Daylen's cons coachable? Not really. Not really. If you have stiff hips, if you've got heavy feet, that's not something that's really easily.
Can we get Shakira?
It's not easy to teach, right? It's physical, right? It's a physical limitation. So unless he's, doing things to try and fix that and somehow succeeds, I mean, he better be doing the agility ladder like every day and, doing all this different stuff to fix it. But, it's one thing to like have technique not be good. It's one thing to not have your eyes in the right place. That stuff can be coached up. The stuff you can't coach is like, how stiff are your hips? How fluid are your hips? Do you have are you light on your feet or are you heavy on your feet? And I'm sorry, man, like Daylen Everette obviously has been coached at a high level there at Georgia, and these issues were still present on his film throughout his college career. So unless he drastically changes, the way that he moves as a human being, I just don't see him as a man corner ever in the National Football League. So if the Steelers want to run a man coverage defense, I don't see him as a long-term starter at corner here.
Off-season workout with Shakira.
Yeah, off-season workout with Shakira. He could make it his
hips don't lie.
The hips coach. But listen, man, I'm rooting for him. I really am. He sounds like a great kid. He obviously, brings some good stuff to the table. He's an awesome run defender, good tackler. I think he'll be a really good special teamer right away. But personally, I definitely would have gone in a different direction at pick 85. Honestly, I think Daylen might have been my least favorite pick in the draft class this year. And again, that's nothing against Daylen, and I'm rooting for him. And frankly, like I'm intrigued to see what he could do as a safety. But yeah, man, the man-to-man coverage stuff is not great, and I think it's because of a physical limitation. But if you're playing safety, you're not playing in man coverage all that often, right? So I think that, he can have his eyes on the quarterback. He can use his instincts, that sort of stuff as a safety, and particularly a free safety. He's got 4.38 speed, so the guy can move. And if you ask him to play center field, he certainly has the speed to go sideline to sideline. Like, I like him more as a safety than as a corner, if I'm being completely honest with you, just because the modern NFL game is a lot more man coverage, man match, and zone match than we've seen in years past. There's still a good amount of zone coverage that's played as well, but most of the zone coverages we see in the NFL level are like zone match coverages, so they're zone coverages with man principles. It's kind of inescapable to get away from matching onto a receiver at the NFL level as a corner. So I think he projects better as a safety. We'll see where the Steelers end up putting him, though. All right, man. Today is week 2 of our Madden simulated season. Of course, we've got the reigning AFC champs on the road in Foxborough. If you missed our first live stream, our first Madden Sim, unfortunately the Steelers took an overtime loss to the Atlanta Falcons in just ridiculous fashion. Atlanta didn't score a touchdown on offense the entire game. Their only touchdown came on a Cameron Johnston blocked punt. Aaron Rodgers actually played pretty well outside of not getting the team into the end zone after that first touchdown, but it was a heartbreaker, man. Just an absolute heartbreaker. 3rd and 7 in overtime with 3 minutes left to go. They're doing a halfback draw, like just awful game management. I was ready to fire Mike McCarthy, but now we get into this next Madden stream. So hopefully the Steelers can upset the Patriots. Of course, Pittsburgh went into Foxborough last year and got a win. But they had to get 5 turnovers to get it done. So we'll see what they end up doing here with this week's live stream. Kick is away. It's going to be fielded from the 5 and taken down to the 30-yard line. Good return for New England, and Pop Douglas, their return man. And Drake May, the runner-up for the NFL MVP last year, takes the field. Going up against the Steelers defense that played pretty well last week against Atlanta, but not well enough, I guess. Under center is May, hands it off. It's going to be an outside run to Travion Henderson. He'll pick up 2. Patrick Queen chasing him down to make the tackle. Shotgun here for May. 3 receiver set. Takes the snap. He's looking, throws quickly on the slant. It's going to be caught by Pop Douglas. Gain of 7, 3rd down and 1 coming up. Type those 3s in the chat. Come on, baby. Let's get them off the field. Let's get them off the field here. Type those 3s. Under center here. Got a fullback. Looks like a running formation. They will hand it off, and it's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Cole Holcomb with the tackle. 4th down and 1 coming up. Let's go, man. Big-time stop by the Steelers' run defense. It looks like Raji and the Steelers' offense will be getting the ball. In case you guys weren't watching our first Madden Sim, Mike Tomlin is going to be the coach here. Obviously, you can't switch out the head coaches. All right, you can switch the playbooks, which we have done, but you can't switch out the head coach. The kick is away, and it's fielded at the 15 by Caden Weegan. He's breaking a couple tackles, and he gets to the 27. Great run by Caden Weegan, the rookie out of Iowa. And here comes Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, age 42. This is last year's Madden game, obviously. And now they'll come out in a condensed bunch formation out to the left with a single lone receiver out to the right. Looks like double play action here. Raji has time, throws off his back foot, and it's intercepted. Carlton Davis makes the catch, and the Patriots will have the ball at the 30. So Aaron Rodgers, his first pass attempt of the day. No, it's Craig Woodson, my mistake. Craig Woodson, the second-year safety out of Cal. Rodgers didn't see him. Tried to go to Jeremy Bernard on the corner route. And now the Patriots will have the ball inside Steelers territory. That's not where you want to. It's not what you want there, Ponzi. You force a 3 and out, get the ball with a chance to flip the script on the road. Why is Jalen Ramsey on the outside? Going to be under center. It's going to be thrown to a drag route for a gain of 5 to Hunter Henry. And now Rodgers is pissed. I don't know, Raji. I think that was your fault there, pal. You got to see that defender.
The Madden base personnel doesn't allow you to designate myself, so I had to put him on the outside because he would be benched.
Gotcha. Shotgun here. Well, you should put him at safety. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. So a little out route caught for a gain of 6 and a first down for New England. They're now inside the red zone at the Steelers 18. Shotgun here, 3 receiver set for the Pats. Got a stack formation in a nasty split out to the left. May is looking. Nothing there initially. Now he's going to dump it off. It's going to be caught by Hunter Henry, breaking a couple tackles, picking up 7. 2nd down and 3. Come on. I need those stops in the chat. Type stop in the chat if you want to get a stop here. Shotgun here for May. Got a bunch out wide to the left. They're going to throw a quick screen, and it's not going to get blocked up. Good job by Brandon Eccles to get there behind his blocker and make the tackle in open space. It'll be 1st down and goal at the 5. So they do pick up the 1st down, but not the touchdown. Come on, defense. Hold strong here. Steelers defense still hasn't given up a touchdown this season. Looks like man coverage across the board here. Shotgun for May. Takes the snap, looking. Now he's throwing short. Gets it to the 1-yard line. Hunter Henry and Patrick Queen brings him down. Second down and goal coming up. Got to make a stop. They go empty for May. Takes the snap. He's going to dump it off. Screen, caught, touchdown, Patriots. Travion Henderson scores, and he's wiping off his shoes on the Steelers. That's always great. Looked like the Steelers brought a 4-man rush, but there's nobody accounting. And it looked like zone coverage from Pittsburgh. And New England's going to take an early lead. Cam Hayward's not too happy. Deshaun Elliott's not too happy with the captain here. Cam Hayward's telling the cameraman to get out of his face. Kick is up and good, but a flag. I think this is going to be roughing the kicker on the Steelers. Brandon Eccles roughing the kicker. So they're just going to decline the penalty and take the extra point. It was almost blocked, though. Kicks away, and it's going to go out the back of the end zone. They don't want to deal with the return men in Pittsburgh. And here comes Rodgers strutting out there after throwing a nasty interception.
The first play at offense.
Now, here we go. Who's that? Is that Riley Nowakowski at fullback? There we go. Going to be play action. Once again, going back to Rodgers. Got clean pocket throws. It's going to be incomplete. I don't know who he was trying to go to there, but Christian Gonzalez was in coverage. You trying to go to Nowakowski there?
Yeah, he did.
Trying to go to Riley Nowakowski with Christian Gonzalez on him in coverage. What are we doing, Raji? Terrible start for Aaron Rodgers. Now they'll go offset I formation on second down and 10. Hand off to Jaylen Warren. He's going to try and bounce it outside. Gets a yard. He looked like he had a pretty decent hole to run through there, Ponzi, and he decided to bounce it outside. Terrible vision by Jaylen Warren. Third down and 9 here. Not a good start for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They're going to go empty with Rodgers. Takes the snap. They send pressure. They block it up. Now he's trying to run up. Now he's going to launch it down the field. Incomplete. Tried to go to 13. Rico Dowdle. Trying to go to Rico Dowdle on a deep wheel route or something? What is this offense to start this game? Throwing up 50-50 balls to Rico Dowdle of all people. As Cameron Johnston boots this away. It's going to be fielded at the 20, and someone tries to do a spin move, and it's not going to work. Patriots will take over at the 22. Man, tough start here. Under center, only a 3-man front for Pittsburgh. Play action, now May throws it, almost intercepted. It's dropped. I couldn't tell who that was in coverage. That was
Cam Hayward.
Cam Hayward in coverage. I mean, I guess it's not a surprise he couldn't catch it. But
gotta do better.
Weird defensive formation from Patrick Graham in the Steelers defense on first, but it ends in an incompletion. It'll be second down and 10. Shotgun May. Takes the snap, looking, throws middle, and it's going to be caught. Keyshawn Boutte, I believe that. No, Romeo Doubs could have been a Steeler. Romeo Doubs on the catch, a nice gain, first down. Looked like zone coverage from the Steelers, and May is going to slice that up like it's nothing. Jalen Ramsey playing outside corner again. Have we not learned our lesson about playing Jalen Ramsey as at outside corner? But now he's in the slot. Shotgun here. Takes the snap, May. Now he's going to throw quickly again. Wide open is Doubs. Nobody even close to around him, and there he goes all the way to the 25-yard line. First down, Patriots. Yay. This is just a disaster game for Pittsburgh to start this game. Layers that football beautifully over to Deshaun Elliott. And it looked like a cover 3 buzz. Drake May just after this first drive where the Steelers got to stop. They've just been making mincemeat of the Steelers defense. Now approaching the red zone, offset I formation for New England. 2 receivers on the field. They will hand it off. Henderson's got a big hole up the middle, and Ramsey's going to lay the wood on him after an 8-yard gain. So here we go. Under center is May. I formation. This is going to be a handoff to Henderson. He's not going to go anywhere. What a hit by Patrick Queen. And it'll be 3rd down and 2 coming up. Run defense has been pretty decent here, Ponzi. But now we head into the second quarter, down 7. Jalen Ramsey, look at that hit, man. Say what you will about Ramsey, man. He still hits very hard. Now 3rd down and 2. Shotgun for May. He's going to take the snap. He's going to dump it off. Nobody's on Henderson. And he's going to pick up a decent gain, get down to the 5-yard line. We had the free fucking safety on Travion Henderson. What is this defense? Patrick Graham, please explain it to me. Madden Patrick Graham, what are we doing?
It's Terrell Austin with Patrick Graham's playbook.
Heavy formation here for New England. They'll go play action. May will get it deflected by T.J. Watt with a nice play from 90. There's 90 making a play for us there. And now 2nd down and goal. They'll go into the I formation. Come on, defense. Hold strong for me here. Takes the snap, 5-step drop, and it's going to be deflected again, this time by Patrick Queen. Queenie making some nice plays in this first half. It'll be 3rd down and goal. Come on, folks. We need a stop here. Type those stops in the chat. Type those stops in the chat. 3 receiver set for May, who's in shotgun. Henderson, the back to his left. May's going to take the snap. Steelers send pressure. Nothing there, and they're going to bring him down. It's a sack, and the Patriots will be forced to kick a field goal. Derek Harmon with the tackle. Let's go, man. Light up Drake May. And he's limping. We'll see if he's okay, but I think he's just being a baby. And they're going to send out their kicker here to make it a 2-possession game. Everyone type miss in the chat. Everyone type miss in the chat, but it is up and it is good. 10-0 Pats. Got to say it, Ponzi. On offense, you got to do something here. I don't think they've completed a pass yet. I don't think they've completed a pass yet. So Steelers need to get it going here. Kicks away. It's going to be fielded at around the 2-yard line. This is Jeremy Bernard. He's going to take this thing out to the 27. Decent return from Jeremy. And there's Aaron Rodgers in the Steelers offense retaking the field. Down 10 early in Foxborough. Already 0-1. Staring 0-2 in the face already. Heavy formation here. And he's going to hand it off to Warren. Up the middle, makes one man miss. And he is going to pick up a decent 9-yard gain. Good job by Jalen Warren. Missed tackle machine that is Jalen Warren. Picks up 9 on first down. That's a good start. We got to get the pass game going here, though, Ponzi. Got to get DK going. Got to get Jeremy going. Got to get Michael Pittman Jr. involved here. Now we go under center with multiple tight ends again. Rodgers will take a quick drop and throw a quick flat to Darnell Washington, who will make the catch in a first down. There we go. Just get that first down out of the way. Let's get that first down out of the way. All right. I'd say send it full screen, Ponzi. Shotgun here for Rodgers. They send pressure. Rodgers has time to throw. Throws over the middle. It's a wide open. Caught. That is looking like Pat Freiermuth with a big catch down to the Patriots 36-yard line. First and Steelers. Beautiful throw from Rodgers right in stride to Muth. Muth had a good game last game, too. He's had a touchdown. Only touchdown of the season for the Steelers so far belongs to Pat Freiermuth. Now they go to the pistol with Aaron Rodgers. Trips right. Takes the snap. Hands it off to Dowdle. He's looking for some room, and he'll pick up 4. All right. We're actually moving the ball here this drive, folks. We're in position to at least cut this down to a one-possession game. Now we'll spread things out a little bit here. Shotgun for Rodgers. Dowdle's still the back. Takes the snap. Rodgers looking. He's got time. Now he's stepping up. Throwing on the run. It's caught by Dowdle in the flat, and he's going to pick up a first down to the 23-yard line. All right, we'll take that, Raji. You know, little off-platform check down. We'll take that 8. Now down to the 23. LOL, Brandon says Mike McCarthy has a tan. Holy fuck. Pistol formation, quick throw, slant, caught. That looks like Michael Pittman Jr. with a nice catch and first down, Pittsburgh. God, man, Pittman with the dark visor and the Steelers uni. Inject it into my veins, man. Inject it into my veins. First down, Steelers now inside the red zone for the first time today. Condensed formation with 2 receivers out there, multiple tight ends, Jalen Warren the back. Rodgers sends Metcalf in motion. They're going to hand it to Metcalf. His first touch of the day, he gets 3. As we're quickly approaching the 2-minute warning here, Steelers do need to snap the ball here, though, at least once before the TMD or TMW. I don't know why I said TMD. Trips right into the boundary here. Rodgers takes the snap. He's going to throw it to the flat. It is caught by Metcalf, brushes off one defender, and then gets tackled by the second. It'll be 3rd down and 4. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. All right, man, if you guys want a touchdown, type those TDs. Type those TDs if you want a touchdown. Haven't had a touchdown since the first half of the Falcon game. Chance to get it done right here. 3rd down and 4. Pressure on Rodgers from the pistol. Takes the snap. Looking now, he's going to look to run, and he's going to run in. He dives in. Aaron Rodgers discount double check. And now he's wiping off his shoes. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And we're right back in it, folks. Look at this. Rodgers, nowhere to go. He's outrunning Christian Barmore. Diving in. He gets clipped as he goes in. Look at that, man. Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old. Still getting in there. Getting some discount double checks.
Put his body on the line.
That's hilarious, man. All right, Boz is on to kick the extra point. And he'll put it up, and it is good. 10-7. Patriots lead. Will Howard. Good job, Will Howard. Way to hold the ball. Way to hold the ball, Will. Good job, kid. All right, Steelers defense has got to hold strong here. About 2 minutes to go. It'll be a 2-minute drill for the Patriots as they kick it off, and a nice tackle at around the 25. All right, let's get a stop here, man. Sounds good. And remember, Steelers get the ball to start the second half, so a stop here or even just a field goal would be huge. Keep this within 1 score. Shotgun here for May, looking, nothing there. And now there's going to be pressure, and he's down. Sack! Alex Highsmith, his first of the season. Call timeout. Did they call timeout? I don't see the clock moving. If the Steelers are smart, it's going to be 2nd down and long. I would call timeout. Try to get the ball back. Alex Highsmith beating Will Campbell and getting to Drake May. Did anyone call timeout? Nope. Mike McCarthy's an idiot in Madden, I guess. So Clock continues to tick. It's going to be 2nd down and 18. I mean, game management clearly tells you to take the timeout here, but whatever. Shotgun here for May, as they're going to wind this thing all the way down to 2 seconds, as they should. Quick throw, slant, and it's going to be blown up by, it looks like, Malik Harrison. Good play by Malik. It'll be 3rd down and 18, but that stops the clock, Ponzi. 1:08 to go. And Steelers can easily use timeout here if they run it or if it's a quick completion. Just no penalties here if you're Pittsburgh. Shotgun here in a condensed formation for May. Nothing there initially. Still has time. Now bombs it down the field, and it's caught, and it's going to be brought in for a touchdown. We have a linebacker on Romeo Doubs. What the fuck are we doing? What is that call? We have Malik Harrison on Romeo Doubs in cover 1 man. What are we doing? That is a joke. I mean, awesome pass from Drake May. But, absolutely imbecilic call. They were in base formation there, Ponzi. They were in base. They had 4 DBs on the field on 3rd and 18. What is this? Kick is up and good. 17-7. I guess the Steelers still have all 3 timeouts to try and go down and still make this a 1-possession game going into half, but how do you give that up? How do you make that call? How do you have a linebacker, who, by the way, is terrible in pass coverage, and man versus Romeo Doubs, their number 1 guy? Kicks away. It's fielded at the 5 from Caden Weegan. He'll take it to the 28. 54 seconds left for Rodgers to try and get this back within a 1-score deficit. Remember, Pittsburgh gets the ball at the start of the second half. They're under center here. Handoff to Jaylen Warren. Steelers call timeout. Great call. Yeah, we only have less than a minute. Let's run it. Waste one of our timeouts for a 2-yard gain. The play calling in this Madden season to this point, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Shotgun here for Rodgers. He's going to have to go downfield at some point. Takes the snap, looking. He's got time in the pocket. Now throws. It's going to be caught by Muth. 1st down. Gets to the 40. Timeout Steelers. 46 seconds left. And 1 timeout left. Listen, man, if you can come out of this with a field goal, it's obviously not ideal. It should be a tie ball game, but at least it's a 1-score game going into half if you can get a field goal here. Still in the game. And you still have a chance technically to tie if you get a field goal here going into the 3rd. Shotgun here, trips right for Rodgers. Takes the snap, looking, throws quickly, and it is caught. Why? We got to hold the ball a little longer here, Raji. Now you got to get to the line of scrimmage quickly. You only get a 6-yard gain. 30 seconds to go in the half. 2nd down and 4. I mean, you're not using your timeout. 25 seconds left. Got to snap the ball quickly. He does. Rodgers has time. Steps up. Throws downfield. Incomplete. Kind of a weird animation there. Don't know who he was throwing that to. I think he tried to go to Bernard. But with 19 seconds left, it's 3rd down and 4. You got to make a completion here, and you still got 1 timeout. So if I'm the Steelers, Ponzi, trying to get a little bit of a downfield shot, get within Boz field goal range, then call timeout with 2 seconds left. Shotgun for Rodgers. Takes the snap. He's got time in the pocket. Going to throw a check down. 1st down, and he gets to the 47. Have to call timeout. Get out of bounds! What are you doing? God, dude, these Madden players are so dumb. It's infuriating. So you got to have a quick completion and either get out of bounds or spike it. 1st down and 10 with 14 seconds left. Shotgun Rodgers takes the snap. Quick flat. Muth gets a yard. Jesus. Got to get a little bit more than that, man. Now there's even less time, 10 seconds. I think you got to pretty much bank on getting out of bounds. Nope, they're just going to try a 62-yard field goal here. Can Boz make it? I mean, he's the highest paid kicker in football. It's up, and it is no – oh, he made it. He somehow made it. Look how close this is. I thought he missed it. Did he actually make it?
You made the call there. I didn't think he made it.
I didn't think he made that. But, I mean, they're counting it, so I guess the refs give us a free 3 points? Oh, wait, why do they – oh, never mind. This isn't half. So we kick things off. Good coverage here as they only get to the 17-yard line. And it looks like they're just going to knee this thing into half. So it's going to be 17-10. Hey, we're still in this thing, man. It wasn't a pretty first half, but we're still in this thing. Now, before we get into the second half here, guys, I want to tell you about our sponsor here on today's live show, which is, of course, Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is super easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup for your chance to cash in. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well, with a number of different stat projections to choose from, like next year's football season, for example. I'm taking the more on sacks next year for Myles Garrett, as well as the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers and the more on receiving yards for rookie receiver Jeremy Bernard. This particular projection can win me $95 if I put in a $20 entry fee. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with our friends at Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app. And a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk Live. All right, well, let's take some super chats here while the highlights are playing. Oh, we don't have any super chats. I thought I saw super chat. Maybe I'm just tripping here. No, I'm tripping. All right, well, I mean, at halftime here, 17-10, still in it. You get the ball to start the second half. You get a touchdown here, I think you feel pretty okay with where this team is at. But right now, we still got 271 Yinzers in this chat room. I really appreciate you guys. Kick is away now. It's going to be fielded at around the – is that Riley Nowakowski? Who the hell is that returning? Or was it Jeremy Bernard? He takes it to the 27, where Raji and the Steelers offense will retake over. Chance to tie the game with a touchdown. Let's see what they can do here on the first drive of the second half. Shotgun Rodgers, handoff to Dowdle, who will pick up 6. Decent gain for Dowdle. Come on, offense. Second down and 4. Shotgun for Rodgers. Dowdle in the backfield again. They're going to hand it to him again. He's going to break through. There we go. Rico to the 50. And get down to the 49 of the Patriots. Good run from Rico. First down, Steelers. That's what I want to see right there. By the way, we did make a change on the offensive line. Max Ahanicher is making his NFL debut at right tackle. And Broderick Jones was starting at left tackle last game, and he gave up a pretty quick sack to Aaron Rodgers. I formation, handoff to Jalen Warren this time, and he's going to fight forward for a gain of 3. Second down and 7. People are wondering how accurate Madden has been for these Madden simulations the last 2 years. They've gotten it exactly right. 10-7 first-round playoff exit for the Steelers in the last 2 years. So, guess we'll see. It's a QB draw on 2nd and 7 for Rodgers. What the hell?
So, little behind the scenes here. It's Dallas's playbook. Sometimes it acts like it's Dak Prescott.
So, once again, an empty here. 3rd down and 5. Raji's going to have to move the chains. Takes the snap. He's looking. Nothing there. Now he's going to throw over the middle. It's going to be open. Caught. There's Metcalf with a big first down completion down to the Patriots 26. There we go, Raji. Heat up, baby. Get hot. Get hot, DK. Look at that throw from Rodgers, man. Just perfectly. Just a little flick of the wrist. First down and 10 now. They go empty again. They've got 4 eligibles out to the left, 1 out to the right. Rodgers will take the snap. He's got time. He's going to dump it off quickly to Metcalf. Makes one man miss. He's going to take it down to the 12-yard line as they get inside the Patriots' red zone for the second time today. Scored a touchdown on their first trip. Come on, let's go tie this game. Let's go tie this game up, folks. Under center here, offset I formation. It's going to be a handoff to Warren. Not going to get much. No gain. Second down and 10. Just so you guys know, for all of our regularly scheduled live shows, we'll be doing a Madden simulation leading up to the start of Steelers preseason, as we do every year. Trips left here for Rodgers. Quick dump off here to Dowdle with a blocker in front of him. Makes one man miss. Makes another guy miss, and he gets decked at the 2-yard line. I thought he was going to score there, Ponzi, but it's a first down for Pittsburgh. First down and goal at the 2. Time to punch it in, baby. Let's punch this baby in and tie this ball game. It was an ugly first half. No question about it. Now we get an I formation where it's going to be a toss play to Dowdle. He gets the outside, and he's in. Touchdown, Steelers! First one of the season for Rico Dowdle, his first as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And we're an extra point away here from tying this ball game in Foxborough against the AFC champs. Let's go. Type those TDs in the chat. By the way, guys, we're 2 likes away from 200 likes on the show. I'd really appreciate it if 2 of you guys click that thumbs up icon, help us get the 200 likes on the stream. If we don't get the 200 likes, we're going to lose this game. All right, so if you want to win this game, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon. Kick is up, and Boz puts it in, of course. 17-17 is the score in Foxborough. And we've got about 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Defense, let's go get a stop, man. Let's go get a stop. Now Boswell boots this kick away. It's going to be fielded at around the 2 or 3 yard line. Pop Douglas is only going to take it to around the 22. Good tackle from Cole Holcomb. And look at that. Romeo Doubs is just eating us alive. 135 yards, including that massive touchdown at the end of the first half. If it wasn't for that play, Ponzi, you'd be up 17-10. Under center is May. Quick dump off. It's going to be caught for a gain of 7. God, dude, that easy of a pass for 7 yards, that should be illegal. And now, hopefully the Steelers defense can get a stop. Haven't been able to get a stop since that first drive. Shotgun for May. We'll hand it off to Henderson, and he's going to be brought down after a gain of around 3 and picking up a Patriots first down. Steelers have not gotten a turnover in this game. In fact, I don't think they've gotten a turnover in either game to start this season so far. Oh, they did? Shotgun for May, looking. He's got time. Now throws over the middle to a drag to Pop Douglas. It's caught for a gain of 7. I don't know, man. I don't think he got 7 there. But he got the home refs. 2 picks last game? We still lost. What a joke. Shotgun here for Drake May. Second down and 3. He'll take the snap. He's looking. Time in the pocket. Steps up. Now throws downfield. Incomplete. Good coverage from Jamel Dean, the new addition to the cornerback room here for Pittsburgh. And it'll be 3rd down and 3. Great opportunity to get off the field. Hey, you know what worked last time when we had a 3rd down? We blitzed Drake May's ass. Let's get after him again. Shotgun here for Drake May. Takes the snap. Throws quickly to the flat. Caught, 1st down. Who is that? Patrick Queen in coverage just allows the quick flat. Too easy. Too fucking easy, man. 1st down, Pats. Now in the I formation, handoff, and look at that hole for Travion Henderson. Makes another man miss, makes another man miss, makes another man miss. What a run from Travion Henderson. Touchdown, Patriots. What an electric run from Henderson, making, I think he missed, how many people did he make miss? At least like 3 or 4? Just leaving the Steelers in the dust. Oh my goodness. Is that Joey Porter Jr.? Yeah, Joey Porter Jr. just absolutely juked out of his skis. Man, what a run from Travion Henderson. Terrible tackling from Pittsburgh. And now the Patriots are extra point away from retaking a touchdown lead on us. That was a disgusting run, guys. I'm not going to lie. Holy cow. Almost blocked again. The Steelers have nearly blocked 2 extra points, and they haven't blocked either one. But this one is good. 24-17 now, Patriots. Still plenty of time in this game. Let's see if Rodgers can continue putting up points here in this shootout. It's starting to turn into a little bit of a shootout here, Ponzi. Kicks away. And it's going to be fielded by Caden Weegan at the 5, and he will get to the 23. Not a great return. But here comes Rodgers in the offense here for another drive, and with the defense giving up as many points as it's been giving up, you gotta keep pace here. Rodgers will start under center. 2 receivers in a nasty split and a stack out to the left. 2 tight ends and a wing out to the right. Play action. He's got time. Now he's going to throw a quick crosser to Pat Freiermuth, and he'll pick up a nice gain. Muth! Let's go, man. Good things happen when you get the ball to 88. Arthur Smith, how did he not figure that out, man? It's unbelievable that he didn't figure that out. Shotgun here for Aaron Rodgers. Trips right. Single receiver out to the left. Looks like Jalen Warren in the back. Takes the snap. Rodgers looking. He's going to throw over the middle again. It's caught by Michael Pittman Jr. And he's down to the 43-yard line. 1st and Steelers. Getting into Patriot territory. Once again, Steelers offense on the move. And that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. Look at that juke. And then he gritties on us. Hey, man, tip your cap sometimes. Just got to tip your cap sometimes. Now we got to go answer. Start of the 4th quarter coming up. Under center is Rodgers in the I formation now on 1st down and 10. Takes the snap. Hands it off. It is Jalen Warren who will pick up 3. Come on, baby. Put us in position to win this game. Got Rodgers under center again. 2 receivers, multiple tight ends, and a wing out to the right. Jalen Warren, the lone back. He will hand it off to Jalen. And he's not going to go far, a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Rodgers has to move the chains here. Come on, man. They'll go empty with Rodgers. Spread formation. Takes the snap. Rodgers looking, has time. Now throws middle and short to Michael Pittman Jr., a gain of 2. Throwing short of the sticks on 3rd down. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are they punting here? Or are they going to?
I think this has got to go for it territory, right?
I mean, I would certainly think about going for it. Or maybe they go for Boz? No, they're going for it here. Big fourth down. Trips right. Rodgers shotgun. Takes the snap. Is he going to look to run? No, he's going to throw in a tight spot, and it's going to be incomplete. Patriots take over. I think I would have rather, obviously, hindsight's 20/20. I think I'm taking the points there, right? Boswell hit from 62 earlier. I don't know, man. I think I'm taking the points there, and I'm hoping my defense can get a stop. But now the defense really needs to get a stop. May under center in the single back, handoff. Henderson takes it for a decent gain here. Gets a gain of 4. Come on, defense. 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 Come on, baby. Get a stop. I don't think the Steelers defense has gotten a stop, like a true stop.
Other than the end of the half and the first play.
Yeah, the end of the half and then the first drive. Shotgun, handoff Henderson again. Big hole, and there he goes. Henderson's to the house again. What an embarrassment. Long touchdown number 2 for Travion Henderson, and we're down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of a Madden game. That might be it, folks. The best the Steelers can hope for is overtime at this point, probably. Can't defend the run. Plaguing the Steelers again. What a joke. Steelers are now staring 0-2 right in the face of this new Madden season. This goes to show you, man, we just go with what the Madden Sim gives us. We don't tailor it to anything. We don't adjust ratings or anything like that. Whatever the game ends up being, the game is. And that was it's a really bad combination there, Ponzi, to miss out on 4th and 4, and then 2 plays later to give up that long touchdown. Look at Will Howard. He's warming up on the sideline, waiting his chance. And Rodgers is like, nope, give me the ball. All right, this would be a great time for a Caden Weegan return here. It's going to be caught by Bernard at the 5. Makes one man miss, and he gets a good return to the 34. Nice job from the rookie out of Alabama. Now here comes Rodgers. Here comes Perk Rodgers. He just took some smelling salts, ready to lead us back. Shotgun here for Aaron, takes the snap. Plenty of time in the pocket, throws in a tight window, caught. First down. Jeremy Bernard, his first catch of the day. Gets us all the way down the midfield to start this drive. Bernard carrying this team on his back, and now Rodgers is doing the discount double check for just a first down. What are we doing? How about we get back within 1 score before we're double checking there, Aaron? Trips right. With Warren the back, shotgun Rodgers, takes the snap. They're going to hand it off to Warren. There he's got a big hole. Picks up 9. Decent run, but I think time's running out here. I don't think we want to run the football, boys. I think we got to kind of open up the offense here. So what you need is a touchdown, then a stop on defense, then another touchdown before the clock strikes 0. Shotgun here for Rodgers. Takes the snap. He's going to dump it off to a screen here to Warren. He's got plenty of room. He makes one man miss, and he's going to get out to the 37. Did not get out of bounds, though. Clock will continue to tick. Now they'll send Rodgers out there in an empty formation, a stack and a nasty split out to the left with a bunch out to the right. Rodgers throws quickly. Is that intercepted? No, incomplete. Almost intercepted. That would have ended the game right there. 2nd down and 10. Rodgers with an interception, a failed 4th down attempt. He hasn't been the epitome of consistency, but, the defense has given up 31 in this game. Pistol formation here in a condensed formation. He's going to throw quickly. It's caught, and look at this. Roman Wilson making a guy miss. And he's going to get down to the 19-yard line. Roman Wilson. There we go, Ro. Nice little move there. Making a linebacker miss, getting upfield. Love to see that from Roman Wilson. Would love to see that in real life. Now they're in the red zone for the 3rd time today. gotten touchdowns the last 2 trips. Rodgers will throw a quick slant to Michael Pittman. He'll pick up first down yardage as he gets down to the 8-yard line. All right, let's get in.
Ideally, score outside the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, score outside of the 2-minute here. You still have all 3 timeouts, so you don't need to, but you would certainly like to and save a timeout for your final drive because you got to get another touchdown. Rodgers from shotgun, trips right, takes the snap, looking for the end zone, nothing there. Now he's going to throw end zone, caught, touchdown! Pat Freiermuth is second of the season. And we're still alive, Steelers Nation. Somehow, some way, we have given up 3 50-plus yard touchdowns in this game, and somehow the Steelers are still alive. Out of structure playmaking from Aaron Rodgers, the toe tap from Muth. Booth review. Oh, no. Because my first thought was he didn't get his feet in bounds. So let's see if he did. I mean, if that's the review, that's terrible. Oh, I think he's out of bounds. I think he's out. I mean, that's what I first thought. I was surprised to see touchdown. But let's see what they give us. Nope, they're taking it back. Jesus. All right, back on the field. 2nd down and goal. Spread formation. Shotgun Rodgers. He's going to be looking for the end zone again. Now he's going to step up, try to run. Now he's going to throw it in the back of the end zone. What was that? Rodgers got absolutely crushed, and now it's 3rd down and goal. God, man, there's just not many things that have gotten the Steelers' way in this stream. They go empty here. Bunch out to the right, stacking a nasty split out to the left. Rodgers will take the snap. Now he's going to look to run. Nothing there. Sacked. And you have to go for it. And you have to score on this play. You got to get rid of the football there, Aaron. You can't be scrambling like that. Just holding the ball for too long. Got to get rid of it. Some way, somehow. Fuck. All right, the game on the line coming up next. You're at the 21. You have to get 21 yards and get a touchdown on this play to save it. Or are they just going to throw Boswell out there? No, they're not. Game on the line right here. Takes the snap. Rodgers has time in the pocket. Will throw end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Jeremy Bernard! And somehow we're still alive. Oh, my goodness. They played man-to-man, and Jeremy cooked his man. 21 yards for the score. And the game is still alive. So, Aaron Rodgers delivering right when you need him to, and now we need a defensive stop from the Steelers to even have a shot, and they're not going to have any timeouts, but they're going to go for this here. Under center is Rodgers. Can they get into the end zone? Pressure on him, throws, wide open, Muth, and it's good. 2-point conversion, 6-point ball game. And now it's up to the Steelers defense to get a stop. Somehow, some way, this Steelers team is still in the ball game with 1:55 to go. And last game, the Steelers definitely played better than the Falcons and ended up losing it at the end. This game, the Patriots have clearly been the better team, but the Steelers have been surviving on the road, trying to get back to 500 after losing the season opener at home, trying to take down last year's AFC champions and walk out of Foxborough 2 straight years in a row with victories. The kick is away, and it's going to be fielded at the 6-yard line by Pop Douglas. And he's going to have a crease. There he goes. He's going to make another man miss, and he gets close to the 50-yard line. Great. All right, well, the Steelers need to get a stop here. No first downs, and Drake May's been awesome, 14 of 19 in this game. Can the Steelers, and of course we're going out in 2 high safeties when they're in I formation. Idiotic defensive play calling, but what a play by the defensive lineman to get the tackle Timeout Steelers. It's a 6-point ball game here with 1:46 to go. 2nd down and 12 after the TFL. Do the Patriots dare throw the football? Or do they just keep running it and force the Steelers to use their timeouts? Honestly, if I'm them, I'm continuing to get the ball to Henderson, and if I don't get the first down, I'm punting this thing deep. Kick is away to Henderson. Once again, a good tackle here by the Steelers. It's going to be 3rd and 12 coming up after no gain. And once again, there's a question. Will the Patriots pass or will they run? Oh, my goodness. If we get a stop here, man, we got a legitimate chance. Not just to tie, but to win. We could win 32-31. Come on, baby. Get me one more stop. One more stop. Shotgun for May. He's got time. He throws. Incomplete. It's broken up. That's Jaquan Brisker, the Pittsburgh native, breaking it up. The clock stops with 1:39. And the Steelers are going to get the ball with a chance to win this thing late. I cannot believe it. I thought it was done. 31-17, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I thought we were cooked. Kicks away, and it's a bad punt. The Steelers will get it at the 28. The Patriots are crumbling. Raji. Can Rodgers lead them down the field? They need a touchdown. They have 1 timeout with 1:34. He takes the snap on the first down. He's going to throw a quick slant. It is caught. Breaks a couple tackles is Michael Pittman Jr., and he gets down to the 42. First down, Steelers. Come on. Nice catch by Mike. Makes 2 Patriots miss. And the Steelers get off to a good start. Come on, we can't start 0-2. Shotgun for Aaron. Takes the snap. Time, throws middle, wide open in the seam. It's caught. Again, it's Michael Pittman. No, that's Jeremy Bernard. What a throw from Rodgers, and they're already down to the Patriots 28. Rodgers and Jeremy Bernard carrying this team down the stretch. Clock is running down. Down to 45 seconds. Trips right. Shotgun Rodgers takes the snap. He's going to throw a quick drag to DK. Breaks 1 tackle. He gets 8 yards. Timeout Steelers with 36 seconds left. Come on, get me this win. Go get me this win, boys. What a comeback this would be. This would be 15 unanswered points from Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter to win it on the road in Foxborough. They are 20 yards away with 36 seconds to go. Shotgun Rodgers takes the snap. He's got time in the pocket. He's going to throw towards the sideline. It is caught by DK Metcalf for another 10-yard gain and another Steelers. First down. 10 yards away, 32 seconds to go. What a game. What a game. They go out in empty. They're trusting Rodgers to deliver. Takes the snap. Rodgers looking. He's got time in the pocket, steps up, throws end zone, and he just throws it out of the back of the end zone. Nothing there for Aaron. Still got plenty of time, plenty of downs to go. He's still got 3 more chances at it. God, this will be heartbreaking if they lose. If they get this close to an awesome comeback and they start their season 0-2, I'm going to be crushed. And yes, I know it's Madden. I'll still be crushed. Shotgun Rodgers looking. Pressure starting to get in. Now he throws towards the end zone. Incomplete. Tried to go to Michael Pittman Jr., and it's knocked away by Carlton Davis. 2 plays to go. 3rd down and 10. Rodgers trying to get the play in. Come on, Raji. Come on, baby. Shotgun. Bunch to the right. Takes the snap. They send pressure. Rodgers throwing towards the end zone, and it's out of the back of the end zone. We're down to our last play. We were down to our last play on the last drive of 4th and 21, and they got the touchdown. Now it's 4th and 10 from the 10. 17 seconds to go. This is for the game. Balanced 2-by-2 set. Shotgun Rodgers Takes the snap, they send pressure. He throws towards the end zone. Open, caught, touchdown, DK Metcalf! And we're a Boz extra point away from winning one of the most improbable Madden comebacks I've ever seen. What a throw from Rodgers, the wrist flick. Did he get 2 feet in? I believe he did. Oh my gosh, what a moment. 2 4th and long touchdowns consecutively from Rodgers to deliver the win. Booth review. Oh no. The Steelers have already had a touchdown reversed. Did Metcalf get both feet in? 1. I can't see the other one. I think he was in. This is going to decide the game. I believe it stands. It stands, and this is for the win, most likely. Boswell kicks it up, and it's good. 32-31. Pittsburgh Steelers in Foxborough. What a game. After throwing away the home and season opener versus Atlanta, a team that they frankly dominated for most of the game, now they were down 31-17. They're 14 seconds away from securing the victory, but there's still 14 seconds left, and the Patriots have 3 timeouts. Field goal wins it for New England. You got to hold them. Shotgun for May. Takes the snap. Throws quickly. Open. There he goes. And they're going to get in the field goal range. And, oh, my goodness. Hunter Henry gets down to the 12. The Steelers are going to lose. Oh, my God. This is that's it. That's it. They're just going to kick a field goal here. It's going to be over. I was so happy, and now the Steelers are going to throw away another game. Yep, they're lining up for the game-winning field goal. I can't believe it, folks. You let Hunter Henry get behind you. The kick is good. There's 2 seconds left on the clock. Barring a magical kind of kick return for a touchdown here, the Steelers are going to go to 0-2. Oh, my God. 2 4th and long touchdowns from Rodgers in the fourth quarter, and the defense can't hold them for 1 play. They're going to knee it in the end zone. They're just going to do a Rodgers Hail Mary here. You never know, but, you can't put this one on Rodgers, guys. 32 points. Now Rodgers going to gear up, just chuck it to the end zone. It can't even get there. Incomplete. Flag on the play. Pass interference on the Patriots. Oh, my God. And the Steelers will line up to win the game from the 19. Boz puts it up. And it's gone! The Steelers win the craziest game I have ever seen. Probably the most unrealistic game I've ever seen, but the Steelers come out of Foxborough with the win. The Steelers had 2 seconds on the clock. They chuck up the Hail Mary. The refs call the Hail Mary pass interference. Oh, my Lord. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-1. There's no other Madden game that's going to top that, folks. There's just no way. There's no way a Madden game tops that the rest of this season. 35-34, Steelers win in Foxborough. Rodgers, 2 touchdowns, 296. Outperformed Drake May in his own building. Had multiple 4th and long touchdown conversions with the game on the line. The defense played like shit, giving up all those long plays. But, hey, we can fix that. We can fix that on a week after a win. That is ridiculous, man. But, hey, Type those W's if you're happy for the win. Steelers win the craziest Madden simulated game I've ever seen. 35-34. We've been doing this 3 years. That's the craziest game, bar none. There's been some crazy ones. That one takes the cake. That was unbelievable. Type those W's in the chat. If you made it to the end of the game, thank you guys so much for joining us. We don't have any super chats, right? Okay, so we're going to say goodbye for the day, guys. Next show will be live on Thursday. All right, actually, my brother will be in town. My brother Joe will be in studio with us. So make sure you guys join us for that. And it'll be week 3, Steelers versus, why am I blank? On the Bengals. Steelers-Bengals at home, trying to improve to 2-1 on our Madden simulated season. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. I'll catch you guys next time. And until next time, guys. Oh, never mind. $20 super chat coming in at the last second. Victory super chat from LVSL. Hope I'm saying that right. And he says, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Shout out to LVL. Is our super chats just not working? Got it. Okay. We'll put you up on screen here. There it is, man. Here we go. Victory screech. Woo! Appreciate you, L. Thanks for the $20 super chat to finish us out today. Hopefully the Steelers can get us another win on our next Madden simulated game. Our next live show, again, guys, is on Thursday. I'll catch you guys then. Till next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.